Alright, hello everybody. This is FettyAndGray, a new YouTube channel that we like to post hockey analysis and any and all things hockey. So, we'll start off with you, Gray. What do you have to say?
Well, I have to say tonight was a big night for Blake Como. Now, I really thought he played a good game tonight with his hat trick, second of his career. Also around the league, we had Pavel Datsyuk and Ryan Callahan with 2-goal games each. It was significant because Ryan Callahan scored 2 goals against his former team, the Rangers, and Datsyuk just came back from an injury, scoring 2 goals, leading his team to a 5-2 win against the Flyers on Wednesday Night Rivalry on NBC. Now, another thing about today that we saw is that Brodeur, the legend, most points as a goalie, is now trying out with the Blues. How do you feel about that?
I think it's great for the NHL to see such a legend return after surprisingly not being drafted or not being picked up from free agency. It's great for the hockey world. Also, with Daniel Alfredsson, sad actually. He announced he's gonna retire next week. So that'll be sad that the legend can't finish off a season with any team. But also with Blake Como's overtime goal against the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, Sidney Crosby got his 800th career point off getting the assist for that goal, which is pretty nice. He got, right?
Now, I mean, that's really significant based on how fast Crosby got to his 800th career point. I mean, you know.
Greatest player in the league, by far.
I mean, Claude Giroux,
Claude Giroux sucks.
I don't know about him, but Crosby pretty quick to 800 points. I mean, Claude Giroux, now if we're going to get off the topic a little bit, he had his 100th goal at the beginning of last season, and Claude Giroux's been in the NHL for quite some time. So,
sad.
Yeah, that's enough. We don't need to talk too much about that today.
But, yeah, we'll get to that another time.
However, I'd also like to mention that the Flyers are in 26th place in the NHL. It's really a shame. While the Penguins are in 2nd place, and the thing about the NHL is that the Pittsburgh Penguins have played 21 games this season, while the Montreal Canadiens have played 23 games. Canadiens have 1 point more than the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins played 2 more games and won them both. They would have more points than the Canadiens.
And they beat the Canadiens 4-0. Sorry to interrupt you, but they beat the Canadiens 4-0. Like, they just blew them out. It's a disgrace, actually. That.
I mean, obviously it's rankings, but at the end of the season we'll see who the President's Trophy ends up with. Now,
Pittsburgh Penguins?
Yeah, exactly. Now, another thing that's been trending recently is the NHL All-Star Game coming up and voting. So, would you like to give out your projected lineups for the All-Star Game?
Of course.
Now to you, Fetty.
Thank you. Great. My All-Star selections are, first, obviously, it has to go Sidney Crosby. He got 29 points. Actually, he has 30 now. But, just best player in the league. Why? Who wouldn't vote for him? Second, I'm going to have to go with Evgeny Malkin, another top 3 forward in the NHL. Just he can do anything with the puck whenever he's on fire. It's just crazy. And my last forward pick is Pavel Datsyuk, the Magic Man. He just had a 2-goal night after coming back from injury. So this player can also do anything he wants with the puck. So those are my forwards. Now to you, Gray. Who are your forwards?
My forwards for the All-Star Game, I'm going to have to go with Sidney Crosby. I mean, that's not even questionable because, I mean, he's the best player in the league every single year since he started playing. He's the best player in the league. I mean, there's not much more I can say about that. And then my second forward, I'm going to have to go with Steven Stamkos because, I mean, top goal scorer, one of the top goal scorers every year. He has a really great one-timer, leads his team to a lot of victories. And my final forward, I'm going to have to go with Craig Adams because he just shows a lot of strength and heart in every game he plays. Now, yes, I am kidding. It's not Craig Adams, but I'm going to have to go with Jonathan Toews because Toews just shows a lot of effort in every game he plays. He goes forward, gets back, helps out the defense.
Great leader. Great leader.
Yeah, leadership, excellent. And, I mean, he just plays excellent games.
All right.
How about your defense? How do you feel about Zdeno Chara almost, possibly not being in the All-Star game.
He has to be one of my top picks. What's a super skills competition without Zdeno Chara? It's just I have tickets to this. I have tickets to the super skills competitions. I don't even think I want to go if Zdeno Chara is not in it. It's just, it's a shame.
It'll just be like, who would it be? Shea Weber slap shot. No, Chara has to be there to top him. That's just how it works.
My other defensive pick is, surprisingly enough, Ali Mata off the Pittsburgh squad. He's just great youngster. He deserves to be in the All-Star game. He's actually currently one away from being in the All-Star game for defensemen, which is just great to see a young guy like him in the All-Star game. So, to you?
Well, my defense, I would have to go with two players that show excellent effort. I'm going to have to go with Shea Weber. He never leads defensemen in points, but he always is a great defensive defenseman, leads his team to some victories with some just great defensive plays and all sorts of stuff. Now my other pick is going to have to be PK Subban, because Subban is just an all-around excellent player. He can score goals when you need him to, he can step up, but he's also a great defenseman. How about your goalie? A lot of good goalies this year.
Yeah. One quick thing about defensemen. I know if you guys are watching this, you might be offended that we did not select Mark Giordano from Calgary Flames. We obviously noticed the amazing season he's having with them. Just blows all their defensive men away in points. But we got to go with the real stars. He might be having just one lucky season, like Craig Anderson 3 years ago. So
I agree, Fetty, but I'd also like to put out there about Giordano that defenseman means defend, which doesn't mean the guy with the most points.
Exactly. Like Erik Karlsson.
Exactly. Now let's get to the goalies.
Yeah. My goaltending pick is actually very surprising. He's not on the goaltenders. Whenever you select, you have to type his name in, but I'm going to have to go with Marc-Andre Fleury. He is just having an amazing year, leading the league in shutouts, just playing all-around great hockey. I've never seen this kind of play from him after watching the Pens for the past 6 to 7 years.
He's even had some great passes this year,
But, yeah, I'm not taking anything away from, Jonathan Quick. He would definitely be my second pick. He's just overall great, but I don't want to see anybody else voting for Corey Crawford. Probably me and him both. We just most overrated goaltender in the NHL by far.
That's very true. He has excellent defense, but he's a trash goalie.
What are you gonna do? With Duncan Keith, Nicholas Hjalmarsson, Brent Seabrook back there. He shouldn't even be getting much shots on him. It's
true.
Yeah. What are your goaltending picks?
Well, my number one goaltending pick, it would have to be Ben Bishop, because he's not one of the top picked goaltenders, except Ben Bishop, his team, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they have some good players, some good young players too, and except they're not as stacked as a lot of teams like the Chicago Blackhawks, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and so I really think Bishop gives a lot of effort and is a really great goaltender, leading his team to some victories, because he stands on his head for his team, because they're not as good as the other teams, but they're still pretty close to the top. They're 5th in the league right now, and they're still going strong.
Couldn't agree with you anymore. But enough with the All-Star game. We're going to have to go check out the league statistics for November 26th, 2014. All right. Let's see.
Who's leading the league in points right now? Is it Crosby or Voracek?
All right. Sidney Crosby, actually. He had a 2-point night tonight against the Maple Leafs, which gives him 1 point ahead of Voracek, 31-30. Other people with high points is Tyler Seguin and Evgeny Malkin are both high with 28, and Steven Stamkos is at 27 points. And for goals, we have Tyler Seguin leading with 17. Not bad at all for a 88 on NHL actually. So, overall, I'm very surprised with his playing because Dallas, what are they? I think they have a losing record currently, but still, it's just shouldn't be a one man team though.
Stars are 21st in the league right now. I mean, you need effort from all your team.
Yeah, we need to see some more leadership. We think from the Stars, as you can tell from the Pens, Malkin has 28 and Crosby has 31. Not to mention that Hornquist is up there too. Fleury's racking up the shutouts, and Komoch has had a hat trick. That's
all around effort.
Yeah.
You can't just have one person, or else your team will suck, like the Stars. I mean, the Stars could. I thought they had potential at the beginning of this year with this Sagan and Ben combo. It's excellent, except I mean they're not doing it. They're not getting something. One line can't do it for you.
But other goal scorers include Steven Stamkos and Rick Nash, each with 15 goals, and then Vladimir Tarasenko and Corey Perry with 12 apiece.
You gotta love to see players like them, with over 10 goals, but also with over 10 assists this early in the season, because it definitely shows they're an all-around good player and not just a shooter or a passer. They're really a solid all-around player. It's great to see them in this league.
What other statistics do you have to show?
Well, I mean, I think we can talk about the standings. This time of the season, you don't really know who's going to lead the league soon, but really we can think about, based on how good teams are so far, we can predict where they're going to be at the end and who's going to win it all. I mean, because really that's all that matters in the end is who wins.
Yeah. Shall we share our East and West conference prediction, like winners and the Stanley Cup prediction?
I think we should. I mean, right now with the Canadians in first, we got the Ducks, Penguins, up there. Really could be anyone now. You never know. I mean, I'm going to say we can roll out teams like the Flyers and, teams in last like the Sabres and the Oilers, but I mean, we can definitely consider who we think could do some damage this season.
All right. Yeah, I'm actually going to have to go for the Eastern Conference Finals. Pittsburgh versus the New York Islanders. All right, it's hard to see right now, but with the Islanders, they're fired up. They beat the Pens a couple nights ago, 4-1. It's great to see them contributing, all around team effort. To be honest, but
especially that Tavares-Okposo combo. I mean, they rack up points.
Yeah, it's good to see they got some good goaltending. Halak is really standing on his head for them, which is great to see. But I'm going to have to go with Pittsburgh going to the finals because they're just, like I said earlier, showing some all-around great team effort, and they're just leading the pack for the NHL right now. It's great to see.
No, I'm going to have to agree with him that I think in the Eastern Finals, I'm gonna see the Penguins and, the Islanders probably for their section, and then I think the Islanders are going to win and continue on because the Islanders, they're having the year this time. They're really getting stuff done. Usually not a playoff team, but they're really winning some games. And
great to see.
I'm proud of the little Islanders,
Yeah, and over in the West, it's a bit surprising. I'm not going to go with Los Angeles. They had their run, but I'm going to have to go with Calgary and Vancouver in the Western Conference Finals. It's hard to see, but Calgary is not doing bad. Vancouver is surprising us all, but I'm going to have to go with Calgary going to the Stanley Cup Finals, losing to Pittsburgh, because, Pittsburgh, always a great team. Fleury just chokes every once in a while, but I really think this is Fleury's year.
Oh, so you're saying the Penguins are going to win the Stanley Cup?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think
it's not a bad prediction.
Four games to one. Pens got this. This is the Pens' year.
It could happen. Yeah, that's definitely a great prediction. I was really thinking that, the Flames, they're a top 10 team right now, and the Big Bad Bruins, they're not even in the top 10 teams right now. I think the Flames are definitely going to the Western Finals, but then I think I'm going to see the Islanders from the East, and I think the Islanders are going to take them out.
So what we're saying is the Eastern Conference.
4-3.
Eastern Conference is taking the Stanley Cup this year. It's good to see.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, definitely. The West holds some power there.
But I think the Blackhawks are having a horrendous year.
Yeah, the
12-8, just 25 points in 21 games. And the Pens have 32. That's a large difference. Oh, wait. Should we go on to the NHL Power Rankings, what they were this week? Because those are...
Well, I think I can tell you right now that the Power Rankings this week,
are pathetic.
we had up there number 1, I'm pretty sure it was the Blues or the Blackhawks.
Yeah, the Blues were first, Blackhawks were second, Pens were third. They actually went down at the last
And then it was the Lightning, and then it was the Wild. Now, first of all,
yes,
the Wild are in 16th place in the league, so they're in the worst half of the league. So I don't want to see the Wild on the power ranking. That is just a disgrace to see the Wild on the power. I don't care if it's about power or what. They at least got to be a better half of the league. Now, the Wild just shouldn't be there. What do you think about, the Wild and the Lightning being there?
I don't mind the Lightning actually being there, because Lightning 32 points, 23 games played. But
I can agree with that.
Like seeing teams like Chicago and the Wild up there just make me sick to my stomach, especially when the Pens move down one and Chicago moves up ahead of them. The Pens are leading them by 7 points. Like the Blackhawks just shouldn't even be in the mix at all. They shouldn't be in the top 16. It's just where's Montreal and the Islanders? They're having amazing seasons, and the Blackhawks are really having one of the worst starts to the seasons that I've ever seen for that club, and it's pathetic actually.
And with the Blues in first, I don't know what to say about that. The Blues are 8th in the NHL right now, except first on the power. It was the Blues first on the power rankings, am I correct?
Yes.
The Blues. Now, just to see the Blues first, that's not the terrible, like seeing the Wild on the power rankings. However, the Blues, more like, Tarasenko carrying the whole Blues team. You can't just put them on there just because they're having a player who's having a roid rage every game right now. He's having the year of his career, but, I guess that's not too bad. But also, second place was the who was it? Second place on the power rankings.
Blackhawks.
Yeah, we already talked about that. Mentioned how disgraceful that is to see the Blackhawks on there not having a bad start this year. Now the Penguins in third. The Penguins, based on how many games they play, how many points they have, they should probably be in the top 2 on the power rankings because they're just getting stuff done. Very little losses. And overall, all these franchises, they've had some good games, but you really got to go with consistency.
So, leaving that subject, we're going to go for the last segment of this. We're going to have to share our 2014-2015 the season trophy picks. So, I'm going to start off with saying the heart goes to Sidney Crosby, of course.
I can agree that Crosby's always going to get the most points.
Yes, destroying the league. He deserves every trophy that he should get.
Because, we know Crosby has one more point than Sagan right now, except...
Voracek. It's okay, it happened. But
however, Crosby is a consistent player. He'll be getting points all season. He's on par to get over 100 right now. You don't know if Voracek's going to be as consistent as Crosby is and always is.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
I'm going to have to agree with Crosby for the heart.
Yeah, but for the Vezina Trophy, my final 3 are probably Fleury, Quick, and Pekka Rinne. I know that's what the NHL.com says, but I'm gonna have to give it to Marc-Andre Fleury. He's, like I said, looks like he's gonna have an amazing season. Nobody should pass him up there. Pekka Rinne is standing on his head in Nashville. I don't know how they're doing so good, but I gotta give the edge to Fleury. He's having a great season.
Now, I can agree with my top 3 goalies. I'm gonna have to go with Rinne, Bishop, and probably Lundqvist, because all 3 of these goalies, they don't have the Lightning and the Predators are both pretty high up in their divisions, and they're not the most stacked teams like I mentioned earlier, except they're doing pretty good, which is really not only a thanks to hot streaks from the players, but really the goalies contribute to that. But also Lundqvist, his team is trash right now, except he really a lot of wins are to him because how good of a goalie the King is.
Yeah, King Hank. Hate that. But